Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about 15 things you probably didn't know about the Gunrunning DLC, including some tips and tricks, secret features, hidden details, and so much more. So we've got a lot to talk about today, so let's not waste any more time, and let's get it started. So in the last tips and tricks episode I told you guys about raids and how they can actually happen to the bunkers and that they're pretty serious. Now, we've learned a couple things since then. Number one, if you are raided, you will lose your entire supply and then will be forced to set up the bunker once again. So it is pretty devastating, just like the biker businesses. You do not want to be raided, as it completely will shut down and strip away everything you've got going from the bunker. However, the raids themselves are different from what will happen to your biker businesses. We get some details from Fun MW2 on how exactly these raids occur. So he says, once your stock is 50% or more, you are exposed to raids. So 50% stock has a value of 250,000. With a staff upgrade or equipment upgrade, it's 300,000. And with the staff and equipment upgrade, it's 350,000. So once that happens, a timer will start, and after 5 hours of inactivity, it will trigger a raid. Now, you can prevent this with the security upgrade, increasing it to 10 hours of inactivity. So it will stop if you are involved in some sort of activity like a resupply or a VIP work or mission or free mode event. By inactivity, the game means spending your time in free mode, picking fights with random players, etc. So he says if that's what you do most of your time, you will notice raids happen more often. And if your stock is 50% or more and you spend 4 hours picking fights with randoms, the next day it will only take you 1 hour to trigger a raid unless you sell your stock. So this is kind of Rockstar's way of constantly bringing you back into the business by forcing your hand to go actually do something with the bunker, because if you don't, you're going to lose everything, which would be a huge bummer, especially considering how long it takes everything to build and research in this update. Now, this is different from the raids on the biker businesses, because raids will happen once your stock is 20% or more. Now, without the security upgrades, it's 4 hours of inactivity to trigger a meth raid and 3 hours of inactivity to trigger a coke raid. With the security upgrades, it's bumped to 8 hours for meth, 6 for coke, and you can delay it most of your time by resupplying and doing clubhouse contracts and MC work, and you can stop it by checking your stock below 42,000 for methamphetamines or 50,000 for coke and selling it. So I figured that's some good information right there, because obviously none of us want to be raided and we don't want to have anything like that happen to us in online. And hopefully now that you know this, you'll be able to prevent it, and going forward, you'll be able to know what to do when you know the time is coming soon when a raid might occur. Moving on, we also get some information from FunMW2 regarding the muzzle brakes in-game. So a lot of people have been asking, is one better than the other? Because there's a lot of options for like the assault rifles and the MG. Well, it turns out that they're all the same except for the Heavy Sniper Mark II, as it uses different muzzles. It uses the bell end muzzle brake and the squared muzzle brake, and these are 15% more effective than what you're going to see on something like the carbine rifle or the assault rifle. So for those, it doesn't matter what muzzle you choose, but for the sniper rifle, I guess it really doesn't matter either. Just know that it has a 15% more effective rate than the ones you're going to see on the ARs. Up next, something you might not have known about the Hauler Custom is it's actually based really heavily off of the exact same cab from Knight Rider, which was called the Goliath. So we already have the Knight Rider's Ruiner 2000, and now it seems with this update, we've got the truck to go along with it as well. So this is a reference that many of you guys have caught on and tried to show me, which is pretty cool, and it just once again goes to show us that Rockstar love taking references from movies and TV shows and pop culture, and they've shown once again that they've done the exact same thing with the Hauler Custom by choosing the Goliath based off of it from Knight Rider, which again is pretty awesome. Okay, moving on, at the number 4 spot, in the video I did a couple days ago, I also talked about how the Halftrack has a snorkel feature that will actually allow you to drive the car for the most part underwater as long as that snorkel is still above water. Well, it turns out the exact same thing now works for the dune loader. With this update, Rockstar fixed that, and now it functions the exact same way, as they're both based off of the dune loader and they both have that snorkel. Again, I don't see many people using this vehicle, as it's pretty rare. You can't buy it and it's hard to find and doesn't have many upgrades, so I can understand that. But if you do want another vehicle that has a similar feature to the Halftrack, the Dune Loader will also be able to, for the most part, drive through pretty deep rivers and water without shutting down, which I guess is a pretty cool and unique feature. Moving on, at the number 5 spot is Grand Theft Auto Online in 2017. Well, it seems as if Agent 14 might have actually confirmed this. Take a listen to what he has to say on this mission mole hunt involving the weaponized Tampas.
One of our agents has been turned by a rival state. Yeah, it's 2017. I can't believe it either.
So he clearly says it's the year 2017, even though for the longest time, Grand Theft Auto Online was supposed to be set before the game takes place, about 6 months before the start of single player, which is in 2013. So this messes up the entire timeline of online. I don't know if Rockstar did this intentionally or if the voice actor of Agent 14 didn't know and Rockstar let that slip through the cracks. I really have no idea. But apparently, Grand Theft Auto Online now did a time jump and takes place in 2017, which I'm not sure how that affects the timeline of other events. Again, it's really weird and confusing, that's for sure. Speaking of the Halftrack, this is something very interesting that Foxy Snaps found. So you know how the Halftrack obviously has the tank treads on the back? Well, it turns out that with the iFruit app, you can actually put standard wheels on the back. This is one of the weirdest things of all time. I'm not sure why this is the case or why Rockstar even have the option for something like this in the game. But yeah, you can put standard wheels on the Halftrack if you glitch it with the iFruit app. That's just so weird. I don't understand why this is the case. Very strange. Foxy Snaps even has a video of it too, which is pretty particular in my opinion. But like I said, I don't think anyone is going to be able to do this as it requires a pretty interesting glitch. But if you are able to do it, just know that it drives still pretty normally, which is definitely one of the most interesting things you'll probably see on the road. All right, up next, I'm going to be showing you guys how you can actually drive around inside your mobile operation center. So 2 things, you're going to need a vehicle and a mobile operation center. You're going to want to drive inside, get off the vehicle, and then get back on. Once you get on the vehicle, you want to go to your phone, go to one of the vehicle purchasing websites, and select a vehicle to buy. Now, you're not actually going to buy it, but you're going to get to the garage confirmation screen and you're just going to sit there. And then you should notice that you'll be able to drive your vehicle around the MOC. Now, this does work best with the bike as you're able to more easily navigate. What's pretty cool is you can also mess around with the mechanic dude on the inside too. You can drive up to him. In fact, you can like almost run him over and he'll like start jumping all over the place and moving around, which is pretty cool. This is a fun little glitch in which you can do with your friends because they can also be inside the MOC when you do this, so you can kind of freak them out with that and try and run them over too. It's a pretty funny bug. I definitely recommend you guys giving it a shot. Up next, let's talk about some tips revolving the shooting range. So a lot of people seem to be struggling with the challenges, and they're difficult, that's for sure. But one thing I've noticed that works really well is if you're on PC using a mouse instead of your controller. I don't even use a mouse and keyboard, but for this challenge, it was way easier, and I was able to accomplish it better than when I was using a controller. And also, if you're on console and you don't have that option, play around with your settings. So go into your setting options, change your sensitivity. You may play on a different sensitivity just for the gun running shooting range challenge than you do in free mode. Change your dead aim, stuff like that. It might end up being very helpful, which is useful because, as we've touched on in earlier videos, the rewards for completing these challenges are incredibly nice, very useful, and can help you out in so many different ways. Okay, moving on, I saw this image floating around and I was blown away at how awesome this was. Is this the best bunker location in the game? So check out this right here. This is someone's setup. You can see he has the bunker right there. He also has the clubhouse on the Route 68 highway. Right next to that is his garage. And then surrounded, he's got 3 of his biker businesses. To the north, right under the Alamo Sea, the cocaine. To the east, he's got counterfeit cash. And to the south, he's got a methamphetamine labs. Those 6 things right there are literally like 30 seconds from each other. That is awesome. The only downside I can see to this is it's, number 1, far away from the city. Number 2, probably far away from any aircrafts, even though you got Trevor's Airfield to the left. But regardless, this is amazing. So if you guys want to consider copying this setup, which I actually might end up doing, you could really maximize your time in terms of what you can do for your businesses and how much money you can make. So that setup is pretty awesome right there. I thought that was really cool, and I definitely wanted to share it with you all. Moving on, I'm going to be talking to you guys about the types of gun running sell missions. So this is what will happen if you sell your stock. So the first one you could possibly get features the Dune FAVs, and it's going to require you to drop 5 items per vehicle, where 4 will be shown and then the 5th will spawn after completing the 4th. This one is pretty easy. It involves the Dune FAV. There's another one that involves the Phantom Wedge and a trailer. It only requires 1 drop-off, which is pretty easy, hauling the Phantom Wedge. Another one requires the Armored Insurgent. This one has 1 vehicle drop-off and also 5 vehicle drop-offs. It really just depends on which one you get, whether you go to 1 location or 5. There's also one involving the Marshall Monster Trucks, which requires you to drop off 5 per vehicle. And then there's one with the Unarmed Insurgent, which will allow you to drop off 1 stop per vehicle. So it involves, I guess, a total of 4 total cars: the Unarmed Insurgent, the Custom Insurgent, the Marshall Monster Truck, the Dune FAV, and the Phantom Wedge. So I guess it's 5. So those are the only types of sell missions you're going to get. None of them involve watercrafts. None of them involve air vehicles either. So they're all going to be on the land, and they all, for the most part, involve something either armored or something weaponized, which is pretty cool. So I have not personally tried this, but I will show you guys the instructions on the screen right now. You can feel free to pause. Again, I will leave a link to all my sources in the description so you can check out them for yourself. But this is a method in which you can actually choose, I use roughly, what item you want to unlock. You do have to be careful, though, as you can't fast track. And if you mess it up at the end where the bar goes over, all your time is going to be for nothing. So again, I'll leave a link to that in the description, but at least there is kind of a backdoor workaround in which you can sort of choose what research you want instead of it just unlocking randomly for you. The next thing we need to talk about, is it worth it to buy supplies or steal them? Well, number one, the gun running supply missions are probably sort of the best part of the new update. If you want to explore everything new the game has to offer, there's actually some really fun stealing missions. But also, number two, buying the supplies makes way more sense in the long run money-wise. The missions are much more difficult and usually go smoothly with a group. And by doing the steal missions too, you'll also unlock the Mobile Operations Center missions, which will give you the option to do those and make more money and get the vehicles at a discount. So I definitely recommend stealing the supplies over buying them. I think for the bunker stuff, it just makes way more sense. Something else you probably want to know about your bunker business is if you restart, it actually won't get you a full run like the setups for the MC do. So when you first start your bunker, the first run that you're going to do will generate you 100% stock. However, with the bunker, restarting a business does not seem to generate full stock like the setups for the motorcycle club do. So keep that in mind, that if you get raided or anything like that and you have to restart, you're going to be starting from scratch as far as supplies go, and you won't be starting at the top like the biker stuff does, which is kind of unfortunate, but I understand why Rockstar might have done something like that. At the number 14 spot, this one is also interesting. Do not split your staff between research and production. It is not worth it. Once again, I will leave links in the description, but basically the too long didn't read version is they are incredibly inefficient. You want to focus on either research or production. Do not do both. If you do both, yes, you're generating a little bit at the same time, but it is at such a slower pace. It would be worth it to just, go back and forth, do research, production, research, production. Doing them at the same time and splitting them is not worth it at all. So don't do it. And finally, last but not least, on the topic of splitting your staff and research in general, did you know that it takes over 260 hours of being in-game to unlock all of the research without fast tracking? Are you kidding me? That is absolutely insane. Who has the time to not fast track and still want to unlock all the items in the game? There shouldn't even been an option to have to wait that long. I would have just rather have us pay the $225,000 to get it, because 260 hours in game, are you kidding me? That is absolutely nuts. Who does Rockstar think we are? Just sitting around all day waiting for it to slowly unlock? I just think that's absolutely crazy. But anyways, that's all the information that I have for you guys in this video today regarding 15 brand new things you might not have known about the Grand Theft Auto Online gun running DLC. As always, if I missed anything, feel free to either let me know in the comment section down below or on Twitter. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go and enjoy this video though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.